Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Dion.
What's up? It's your girl Jasmine.
And welcome back to another video on this channel where we help you build wealth, find purpose, and live happy. You feel me? All right, so we back with another one. Now this one here, we going all in and we going in detail. So what we really need you to do is grab a pen and a pad. You know what I'm saying? Get your popcorn ready. Really get comfortable, really take notes, really steady and write down what we about to say. All right, because you guys been asking for this video, especially for them outsiders all across the nation. You've been asking about this video, what it's like to relocate or how to relocate to Houston, Texas. So,
but
okay,
on a budget, right?
On a budget,
How
yeah.
to move to Houston on a budget.
We all about saving the money. You know what I'm saying? Gotta save the money. You feel me?
So the first thing that you obviously want to do, which is the most important thing, is set a budget.
Man.
You know, you're obviously going to be spending some money, but you want to try to budget and try to save money where you can as best as you can, right? Because we're all about saving that money.
Gotta save.
So when you're setting a budget, you want to look at it from a perspective of your moving budget and then savings or like an emergency fund, and then what you need for like that first month or first couple months rent and mortgage.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So again, you want to have a separate savings fund because you know a plan is a plan until it's not.
Right.
You know how things happen, life changes, things change all the time.
For us, it changed too.
It changed, and we'll actually share in a separate video our journey to Houston, so you can hear just our personal story and just how we, you know, our journey and how we got here and stuff. So anyway, if you're renting, you generally need about 2.5 to 3 times monthly rent, and apartments usually, you know, for an income, they usually look at around $2,500 income for approval when you're submitting an application. And when you are thinking about submitting an application, you also want to think about, okay, not going ham and doing 5 applications, but maybe limiting down to like 1 or 2 applications, because applications cost money.
They do cost money.
Yeah, they're around like $150 to $200, I think. Yeah, $150 to $200 an application, and then on top of that, you got, you know, $150 deposit, security deposit. So that stuff adds up, you know. So you want to be mindful of that.
Yep.
I'd say you definitely want to visit before you come, just so that you can narrow it down.
That's number 1.
Right? So you can narrow down your apartments and say, this is for sure my top 2 out of 4 or 3 or whatever the number
you
is.
Definitely wanted this. It's just not to intervene, but to me, that's very key. We get so many people that want to move to Houston, but you've never been to Houston.
Right.
So that in itself can kind of get, you know, it's nothing like actually being in the environment or in the neighborhoods and the living space you'll be living in, actually seeing it for yourself and seeing what it really feels like. Because this, you know, the weather here is different, the heat, the people, the vibe, it can be different from where you're coming from. So I think it's definitely good, even if it's just a weekend, you know.
Right, at least one visit, just to get a feel so you can see yourself here.
Yep.
If you are buying, then obviously, you know, you'll have to save what, 3% to 20% for down payment of the house, or whatever the total cost of the house is, purchase of the house. And then, you know, you want to think about closing costs and all of that stuff. That all varies, right, depending on your lender. And in some cases, if you are buying, you may already have a home, and so you're going to be selling that home, or using profits or proceeds from that home to invest into your new home. So that's a whole nother thing. But you want to think about that, obviously, if you're buying from a budget perspective. I think lastly to think about with your budget is, you know, all your utilities and things that you need to account for. So like power, internet, gas, water, all of these things. If they're not already included, if you're renting, if they're not already included in your monthly rent, well then like internet won't be. So most times you'll want to account for those types of extra things that you'll have to look at, right?
Hey, shout out to Station Side back at home. I stayed in an apartment a while ago, but they actually had internet included in the rent.
Oh, that's dope, because that's rare. But maybe they're doing that to kind of attract people, more people to, you know, living in certain apartments, luxury apartments and stuff like that. We'll probably do that, but not when I was renting. I had to scrape together all my little coins for every little thing. But anyway, so that's setting a budget.
All right, man. You heard it here first. Set that budget. And number 2, transportation when moving to Houston, okay? So this is really important. So our experience, for example, if you're flying to Houston, we flew from Chicago to Houston, okay? So that was a one-way ticket, thankfully, so roughly around $369.
But that was because we had 2 adults and a toddler who was over 3, so we had to buy her ticket, and then we had a lap child. So that was for 3 tickets. That was pretty.
That was pretty good. That was
decent,
pretty good.
Decent.
Yeah, one way. And that was crazy buying a one way. You know what I'm saying? Like we officially
that felt different.
Moving south. All right, we're not going back to Chicago, so that was different. But yeah, just our whole process was we did have 2 vehicles, so we looked into a shipping company to ship our vehicles. And so one thing we want to recommend if you're in that process, shop around because that can get very, very expensive. Just shipping your vehicle. Our process with shipping our vehicles, pretty much we found a great company to ship our vehicles, but we had an option of open trailer or closed trailer. And what that means is open trailer, pretty much if you're on a highway and you see a truck and you see all these cars on top of it, and they're just out and about, they're just strapped up really tight to the truck, that's pretty much open trailer. So if it rains, snow, whatever the case may be, you know, your car will come back to you with snow
dirty.
Under the rain, right? Or just dirty, right? So open trailer, or you have closed trailer, which is a more expensive route, but your car will be inside, closed in, where if it's rain, snow, no element pretty much will touch the car. It'll get to its destination point A to point B as it was before it shipped. So that's an option to think about. We chose open trailer. Still an expensive process for us, but saved us some money. Absolutely. We had a Mercedes-Benz, a Tahoe, Mercedes-Benz. Give you guys some numbers, roughly around per car, $650 to ship that out. For
the sedan, for the Mercedes, because it was a smaller car, but then we had an SUV. So the larger, obviously the vehicle, you're gonna spend a little bit more. I think that was like around $850.
That came out to about $850.
So it was like $1450 or something like total.
Yep, so total, shipping 2 cars. And it was pretty smooth though. We flew out, we got all that process the day before we flew out. And literally, we flew into Houston. We stayed at a hotel. The next day, the guy came with our cars and pulled them right up to our house. Same guy, we just spoke with him. He drove all the way through the night, got him here. So our cars was here. And we definitely recommend having a vehicle in Houston only because Houston is really, it's huge and it's spread out.
Right, so if you're driving, so if you're not flying and if you're driving, maybe you're closer or you just feel like taking, you know, the long ride. We weren't about to do that with 2 small babies because it's a 16-hour drive, I think, from Chicago to Houston.
Yeah.
And with 2 small babies,
because
we had a 3-month-old. Yeah, a 2-month-old, right. Yeah. Zoe was 3 months or 2 months. So I was like, that's not happening. So anyway, but if you're gonna take the long drive, obviously you gotta account for gas, obviously maybe even an oil change if you're doing a long distance, just to make sure your car is in good operating, maintained condition before you're getting on the road.
That's important, man.
Right? Before things go haywire.
You don't want that tire to pop.
Pop. You know.
On the side of the road with all your stuff, that's not a good feeling, you know. So like she said, definitely make sure your car is well maintained. Inspect your vehicle before you drive it if you plan on driving, you know, 4, 5, 10 hours. Right. All right.
And then you are going to need a car in Houston. So plan for that because Houston is very spaced out and it's big.
Yeah, man. If you take an Uber or Lyft, you know, you're gonna definitely be spending some money.
Right. They have Uber and Lyft here, you know what I mean? But you don't want to be doing that on an everyday, consistent basis. So definitely plan to have a vehicle for sure.
Absolutely. All right, there it is.
So then let's talk about shipping your belongings. So your stuff, right? Your clothes, your shoes, whatever you're bringing with you from your current residence to Houston. What we did was we had a U-Haul pod. So we rented a U-Haul pod where it was just big enough. I can't remember the exact measurements, but it was big enough for us to just put what we wanted to bring with us. We did not bring any furniture. We'll touch on that in a second. But mainly it was just clothes and baby stuff and shoes and those types of things that we brought. And that was about $775 from, you know, as a one-way from Chicago to Houston.
Yeah.
If you're driving, you obviously have the option to do a U-Haul trailer where you can hitch, it's a pod, but you can hitch it to the back of your SUV or your vehicle if you want to do it that way. That'll save you some money. It might be a little bit cheaper than what we paid for the pod, or around the same price. Obviously we had to buy, boxes and tape or whatever. We got that from Home Depot. I mean, that came out to like a total of $40. That was very inexpensive. It wasn't that bad. And then another cool thing I do want to mention is that while I was looking around, because we were trying to figure out what was the best option. Should we U-Haul it? Should we, what should we do? Call a shipping company, a moving company? What should we do? Right. And I found this really awesome shipping marketplace called UShip. And it's awesome because you can put in what you're shipping. If you're just shipping like a 1-bedroom apartment or a studio, or if you're shipping a whole house or whatever you're shipping, you can put your details in, your criteria in the shipping marketplace website. And what it does is it sends notifications to all local shipping companies, and so they all get to bid on your service, or bid for your business, I should say.
Yeah.
And so then you'll start getting I got at one point 10 to 12 quotes. Hey, we'll do it for this price. We'll do it for this price. We'll do it for this price. Yep. And then what is awesome is that you get to negotiate, which is great, because once you get one bid, you can always go to somebody else and say, hey, this person is willing to do it for this price. Can you come in lower? And so we found that, you get some good deals that way. So you might want to leverage that. We ended up going the U-Haul pod route just because we didn't have that much stuff. But if you got a lot of stuff, that might be something to consider. So,
right. But the U-Haul pod route, I have to say, was really nice.
Yeah, it was easy.
It was easy.
Yeah.
It was easy. It caught me off guard. At the time we were thinking about moving, we didn't think about that. We looked up, did some research, we found about the pod and went for it, but pod was sweet.
Yeah. Oh, and then it was cool too when we got here. So the U-Haul works with local, wherever you're going to. It's another, they drop the pod off to somewhere in Texas, and then from Texas, at Carroll or some kind of spot in Texas, they connect you with a local delivery service. And there was 2 awesome guys, Black African-American guys, that had their own moving company and business. And so they were actually the ones who delivered ours. I think it was just 30 miles or something. It wasn't much. And so it was cool to meet and see new faces and, young brothers out here doing their thing.
And we apologize to you young brothers, man, because I can't find y'all business card to say my life. I think the kids or somebody backed it up. Because we definitely give you guys a shout out, man. They went above and beyond making sure we got our pod from U-Haul, man. But yeah, it was a smooth process. So, these are some options and some things you definitely want to look into when you're getting ready to make that big decision for moving from wherever you're moving to Houston, all right?
Yeah.
All right, and so you definitely want to go over, furniture and food, okay? So pretty much with furniture, you don't need furniture when you move. Us personally, we wouldn't recommend it, but to each his own. If you have some very either expensive furniture, something new or something like that you absolutely want to bring with you, and make it work, I guess, make it work. But I would recommend, hey, figure out. For our experience, we pretty much lived in a condo. So when we sold our condo, we was able to negotiate within the price, the furniture, TVs, pretty much everything.
Yeah.
We didn't, all the heavy, the bids and all of that stuff, we were able to negotiate that within the contract, which was awesome for us. And when we got here, all we had, the first furniture we ever had in this house was air mattresses from Walmart.
Right, that's all you really need.
That's all you need. We were happy. Okay?
Right, when you first started out here, we had a little air mattress for a little while, until we got our furniture. That's really all you need.
Scoot over, babe, scoot over. You feel me? We gonna make it work. That's it.
I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, okay. But you don't want to stress yourself out about furniture. Don't stress. That can come later. Take your time getting your furniture.
Right.
Okay? That's not a necessity unless obviously you already have it. Again, for us, we wanted to start fresh. We wanted to start new. So when we bought our house, we wanted just brand new, fresh, everything. Fresh new start, fresh new everything. Yeah. So that was our approach. But if you already obviously have stuff that you love and want to keep, keep it.
Sell it. Listen.
Keep it. But if you got more stuff, furniture to get that you want to get, another bed set or something like that, like don't worry about that right away. Like,
I mean, it depends. Like I said, it depends.
Unless you got the moolah, but we talking about budget.
If you're coming from Cali, Florida, New York.
Right, but we talking about a
budget. If you're coming kind of far where it's going to cost a lot of money just to ship certain things like furniture and all that. If you absolutely need it, get it. But most of the time, let it go, sell it, start fresh. And remember, when you start fresh, buy what you absolutely want for the house or the apartment that you're in, so you don't have to buy twice or buyer's remorse or anything of that nature. And it's a fun process, taking your time, finding some good furniture in your new space, new environment, things of that nature.
Your new beginning, your new chapter.
New beginnings, man, new chapters, absolutely.
So number 5, last but not least, this is also very important, becoming a Texas resident. What do you need? Because we had to learn this process on our own. Obviously you'll need to get a driver's license or an ID card, right? In Texas as a new resident. So you'll need proof of citizenship, right? You'll need, they also want you to have proof of residency.
Right.
So you'll need an address saying where you're living in Texas. For your applicant or to get your driver's license. You also need, whatever supporting documents, right? So that can be your social security card original, your birth certificate original, passport. If you are married or had a married name change of whatever reason, your marriage license. So they want to see all those types of things. Make sure you check out the website, the state website for all those specifics.
All right, and another thing is the vehicle registration, which is very, very important. But here in Texas, what kind of threw us off just a little bit was that an inspection is required when you register your vehicle. In Illinois, an inspection is not required to register your vehicle. So we're around $25. But that whole process threw us off. And what was so crazy about all this was, remember, we moved here and 2 weeks later, the pandemic happened. So when we moved here, we kind of took our time with our cars. And the whole process, when we went to go get our cars registered, they hit us with all this stuff. And then we had to have a Texas license. We had to have that, like a driver's license, we had to have that. So our Illinois license, even though it was up to date or anything like that, it wasn't expired, you had to have a Texas license. And so it was crazy. I went to go get this license by myself. I was out and about, I was gonna get it. My wife was planning to get hers. I ended up getting mine, and literally like 2 days later, the pandemic came and everything shut down.
Right.
And so she couldn't even get hers. Mine came in the mail.
Thank God. We had at least one vehicle covered.
We had one.
Legal on the road.
Yeah, we had one. So mine came in the mail 2 weeks later, and we was able to kind of get everything going and register and set up with that license. And it took a long time.
Yeah. For me to get mine.
For her to get hers. Yeah. So it took a minute. So I would recommend, when it comes to moving to Texas or Houston in general, that should be the first thing as well too. Like,
just that state inspection. Situated,
get to that DMV, get your license, get your cars registered, get everything knocked out, inspections, all of that right away. Because you don't want anything to come up or anything to happen and it get pushed back, because our situation was crazy. It literally happened. Pandemic came in. Had we missed that window, it would have been tough driving out here with Illinois vehicles.
I mean, I guess we weren't driving anywhere anyway because we was quarantining, but whatever, it was good to have it because we had to dip out. But the other thing too that you do need is proof of car insurance, so auto insurance. So I just want to mention that too when you get your vehicle registered, to have that as well. One other thing I do want to mention is to research your bank to make sure that your bank is here. At least there's a branch, or it's here locally in Texas. If you're not, obviously with a national bank like Bank of America or Chase or something like that, if you're currently banking at a local city bank or at your house, right, or your current residence, that you want to look to see if they do have other branches, or even look to start, open up a new account at a new bank in Texas. So think about that as you're planning ahead, because you don't want to get here You know what I mean? And you can't just like access and move your funds around and do things, you know, financially that you need to do when you out here getting set up and situated.
Exactly, man. That's key. That's important too, because we coming from Illinois, banks and everything is completely different.
Yeah.
A lot of things aren't this way down south.
So thankfully we did have Chase, but we did also have a credit union, which is only specific to Illinois area. And so we still have the credit union because we leverage, you know, the credit union for other great benefits and purposes, but that's not our main, you know, bank.
Right.
Because it's not easy to use
it's not easy
out here.
Right.
So keep in mind.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. All right, man. So we definitely hope that these tips helped you. We hope that we bless somebody out there who's making that transition to Houston. We do wish you a safe journey. Houston is a dope city. You know, our process, it's a great vibe. Our process was a pandemic year first. Last year it was tough, but we getting through it, man. And man, it's really good. Houston's a great area, good people. So if you're definitely looking to make that move, we highly suggest that you rewatch this video, get that pen and pad out, take some notes for yourself, man. Plan, create that budget for yourself, and do it.
And if you have any tips, comments, anything that you think other people would find useful or helpful, comment below, you know, and share. We love to share information and help each other out, you know what I'm saying? Because this is a big move, a step of faith. So, you know, we got to encourage each other.
Got to encourage each other, man, like she said. So with that being said, if you like this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, really helps us out. And like she said, leave some comments, leave some feedback in the comment section. And all that cool stuff, man. You guys have a great day. Have a blessed day. Be good. And until next time. All right.
Peace.
Peace.